The world's bigwigs in Brisbane for the G20 Down Under. Obama, Merkel and a somewhat pasty-looking David Cameron are among the cast dressed up as Aussie lifeguards. One big head, though, conspicuously absent, Vladimir Putin. The organisers of this Oxfam publicity stunt said they didn't bother with the Russian president as they weren't sure he was going to get an invite. In the end, Mr. Putin will be at the G20, his second summit in a week after the APEC meeting in China. But in Australia, he could cut something of an isolated figure. 38 Australians were among 298 people killed when the Malaysian plane MH17 was shot down over eastern Ukraine in July, possibly by Russian-backed rebels. The Prime Minister here says he'll be seeking answers from President Putin, even using an Australian sporting term suggesting he wants a physical confrontation.
Look, I'm going to shirt front Mr. Putin. You bet you are. You bet I am. I am going to be saying to Mr. Putin, Australians were murdered.
Memorial services for those who died are still taking place. The bodies only recently returned home. Mr. Abbott's strong stance is aimed at the families who are still grieving, but some believe he'll need to tone things down with Mr. Putin at this weekend's G20.
He doesn't want that to become a distraction. He doesn't want that to become the focus, a shirt fronting, or some sort of scuffle between himself, a verbal scuffle between himself and the President of Russia, because he wants the G20 meeting to succeed.
This time tomorrow, Vladimir Putin will be here behind the endless barriers and rows of security. The Australian media have made much of the spat between the Russian leader and Prime Minister Tony Abbott, even talking about Russian warships apparently being stationed off the Queensland coast. But the truth is, Australia has spent more than $500 million putting on the G20, and for it to be a success, they'll want it to pass off without any sort of major diplomatic incident. John Donnison, BBC News in Brisbane.